Yes, guys, welcome back to another vid from Mutal FC, and today we got another banging vid for you. Today we got Week 8 predictions. As a United fan, last week was a very, very traumatic experience, losing to fucking Banter FC.
Yep, I mean, Pogba gets a haircut every week, but always got to cut the squad next week. Alright, so talking about City Liverpool, the big game this weekend. So obviously Aguero's injured, and Jesus is still not back as well. And then City have to play Cancelo at left back because Mendy's still injured. And then, Sterling through the middle. And hopefully we can see Sterling and Gomez beef 2.0. And then, for Liverpool, Jota could come into the side because Firmino can't score. And, he scored last week, but it was a tap and he can't really score a real goal. But I got it being 3-2 for City.
Yeah, so I have it being 3-1 for City. I think the loss of Van Dijk has changed, I think, Liverpool's title hopes. I don't see them winning the title this year without him there, because the last time Van Dijk was not there, they had Salah, they had Mane, they were scoring goals, but they could not defend. And now you have Fabinho's also out, Matip's also out, so you're stuck with Gomez, an academy kid. So I don't think that's going to be strong enough to hold off Man City in this game. Man City's not playing too well, but I think enough to beat Liverpool here. So I have Man City winning 3-1.
I'm gonna give Liverpool the benefit of the doubt. I know everyone's saying this league is really shitty this year. Nobody's winning, nobody's consistent. All 20 teams have lost at least one game or dropped points. So yeah, it's a pretty entertaining league. But I thought that the kid who came in for Liverpool was really good. Again, I know it was West Ham, and there was no Antonio, but he was still really good. Apparently, Matip is almost back from injury, so he probably will come in eventually. But for this game, I still think City are going to win. I know they're not amazing, but I think defensively, they finally found some stability since Kompany's left. Laporte and Ruben Dias look fantastic, especially Ruben Dias. He's the headers and corners and stuff like that. If people watch the Arsenal game, they saw how good Ruben Dias was, or even the Sheffield game, because Sheffield have a lot of good players off the set piece. So I feel like since Kompany's gone, City have never had a assertive center back, which they now have in Ruben Dias. So I can't see Liverpool score because they struggled so hard against West Ham until Shaqiri and Jota came. But I think it'll be a tight game, a very tight game. It could be decided on a penalty. But City also have De Bruyne, so I just think City are going to win this game 1-0, though. It's really tight.
Alright, moving on to Everton, Man United. So obviously, Man United this week lost to Banter FC, and Ole is going to be under immense pressure. I just think it's issues with the formation. I think Ole doesn't know, just because he doesn't have the pedigree. He doesn't know whether he wants to play a diamond, or 4-2-3-1, or 4-3-3. It's kind of just throw everybody on the field and hope for the best in a FIFA game. But in Everton's point of view, Digne and Richarlison are still suspended, and James is going to be back from injury. But let's see if Don Carlo keeps his word and plays Pickford like he promised, or if he's going to stick with Robin Olsen, who looked good against Newcastle. But I got it being 1-1 just because both teams are kind of struggling at the minute, and I just think maybe a pen for either team and then a normal goal, so 1-1.
So I have a United 2-1 win. I think people are being a little harsh on United. They've had 5 games in 14 days, 4 of those consisting of top-level Europe teams. So I think they were bound to lose one. I don't think it's fair to expect them to win every single one. They played a good game against PSG. They played well against Leipzig. They even played well against Chelsea. They didn't get a result that they wanted, but they still played well. I do agree with Locke that the defense, or the formation, is a problem. Ollie does not seem like he knows what he's doing there. I didn't really get the setup against Arsenal, with Arsenal playing 5 in the back. So they have extra players on the outside, and you set it up as 4 central midfielders, so you have less support on the outside. I don't see how that matches up. But Ollie has his tactics, I guess. But on Everton's side, they don't have Richarlison or Digne. They're still out on suspension, so they're missing some of their most important players. I think United will bounce back, especially since they lost this last game against Arsenal. They're 15th in the Prem right now. So I have United winning 2-1.
Yeah, United have a lot of problems. That's watching this team for 7 years. You just see the problems, and I think some players have improved. But there's still a mentality issue. I don't ever trust these players. They can put in 4 or 5 good performances and then throw a shitty one. Ollie is also responsible. Towards the end of Project Restart and stuff, he was playing the same team again and again, same formation. And it worked for the most part, but towards the end you just saw the tiredness in the players. But now he's suddenly gone from playing the same formation every week and the same players to now changing it up every game. We played in the last 2 weeks a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. It's also hard for the players to like actually stick to their roles. They have to be really disciplined, which United players, a lot of them aren't disciplined, and it doesn't. Like, what the fuck is Pogba doing? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I've always advocated. A lot of people said Pogba out. I've never been one of those Pogba out people, but it's harder every day. Pogba doesn't look like he's gonna give a shit for United. And I saw something yesterday when I was watching one of the analysis videos. Pogba, if he was in a France shirt, would not make that clumsy challenge against Bellerin. He would have stuck to him better, or he would have just let him go. He does not make. You see him at France, and you see how disciplined and how organized, and he plays as a second defensive mid. He doesn't play as a 10 next to the 10 or whatever bullshit. He plays next to Conte. He plays amazing. At United, the dude just lets people slide past him. And the whole fucking tactics, Ollie's got all wrong at United. I don't trust this man. He's a legend. I want Poch. But I just don't see how United are going. There's no future in this, right? Arteta in his 30-something games, I can see a path. Ollie in his 100th game, I still don't know where we're going. Right? But at the end of the day, that's just going on a ramble. I don't see United beating Everton. Everton are more organized. I know Everton had a poor result against Southampton and Newcastle back-to-back, so I think they'll bounce back. I don't think United will lose just because they have a 12-game away in record or something like that, or undefeated record. So I think they'll get a draw. I think it'll be 1-1, but only because Everton don't have their best players. That's just the harsh truth.
All right, moving on to Southampton, Newcastle. So I got it being 1-1 just because Ings went off with his knee injured after he scored that beautiful curler. I really hope Ings is well, just put some icy hot or whatever you got to do on that knee. And then Newcastle, Callum Wilson with a fucking brace. That was beautiful. And if Fraser gets some minutes, that link-up could be dirty as well. So yeah, 1-1 Southampton and Newcastle.
So I have Southampton winning 2-0. Both these teams are playing very well right now. I said it last week. I think Southampton's like a dark horse team for me this year. I think they can sneak into one of those European spots. Ings isn't going to be there this weekend. I get that. I still think Che Adams is playing better than he did last year. James Ward-Prowse looks like he's in form right now. That defense has improved. And Newcastle, same thing. They've improved their attack. St. Maximin's playing really well. Callum Wilson came into the squad. Ryan Fraser's into the squad. So they're also playing really well. But I think Southampton are going to edge it here. So I have Southampton winning 2-0.
I'm just going to go along with what Chris said. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Southampton just because Southampton I just think they just have better. I know Newcastle's attack is really scary and they're really good. But I just think in form-wise, Southampton getting a big result against Newcastle last weekend. And then what they did this weekend with James Ward-Prowse going off. So yeah, I think Southampton is just going to edge it 2-1.
All right, moving on to Leeds against Crystal Palace. I got it being 3-1 for Leeds. Bamford is coming off a hat trick, and we're recording this before they play Leicester today, so he could have scored more goals as well. And I just think Helder Costa standing on Nathaniel Klein is not a good look for Crystal Palace. And Zaha, for all his brilliance, he couldn't do anything against Wolves. I just think Leeds have too much quality for Crystal Palace. I'm going to go 3-1 to Leeds.
I'm also going 3-1 to Leeds, and for the same reasons Locke said. I think there's just more quality at Leeds than there's at Crystal Palace. I don't think Zaha by himself is enough to beat Leeds. Bielsa's tactics this season have just been outstanding. I think every game in, game out. I just don't see the quality just doesn't match up well. And Leeds' attacking style, I think, is going to beat out whatever Crystal Palace do. So I have Leeds winning 3-1.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what the other guys said. I'm going with a 2-0 victory for Leeds.
All right, moving on to Chelsea, Sheffield United. So I got it being 3-0 to Chelsea. We saw what their attack could do against Burnley. I mean, Pope kind of made a mistake, and I don't think Ramsdale's the best keeper, so there's a mistake in him if Ziyech pelts the ball at him. But hopefully if Pulisic is back and, he can stay fit because he got injured in the fucking warm-up, and we get to see Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech, and Havertz play and see how they can unlock a defense, I'm going to go 3-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, so I'm going 4-0 to Chelsea. I think the addition of completely changed that team. All last season, people were saying that defense was a problem. It seems more like Kepa was the solution along with Kepa's. I think no one knew how. I don't think people knew how Kepa communicated to his defenders. I feel like there was no communication there. Now Mendy's there, and he's obviously doing something different to keep that defensive line more stable and compact. And then the addition of Ziyech, I think, has changed the attack. Werner's starting to, his runs are actually beneficial now because he's getting service. And then on the other hand, you have Sheffield. They have no attack, no defense, like really nothing. So I see Chelsea just destroying them this week. So I have Chelsea winning 4-0.
But once again, I'm making on what the other guy said. I think Chelsea, Ziyech just changed their attack, so I think it's going to be a easy 3-0 win for Chelsea.
All right, moving on to Fulham against West Ham. So obviously Mikel Antonio's out with an injury, and West Ham just lost to Liverpool, but it is Liverpool. And then for Fulham, man, nothing's gone right for Scott Parker. And I'm a Fulham fan on the low, so I have this being it will be a West Ham win. The reason I have it being 2-1 is I think the way West Ham play, the 5-3-2, the two in the middle rather, Declan Rice and Souček. If Anguissa, Loftus-Cheek, and Kearney can have a good game, we can have the upper hand in the middle. So I just think 2-1 to Fulham.
So I have 3-0 to West Ham. I really feel bad for Scott Parker because I think he did an outstanding job last year getting Fulham to the Prem. Like, I don't think that team was talented enough to even get into the Prem. But here in the Prem, you need to be able to defend, I think, to stay up, and they obviously can't do that. And on the other hand, you have West Ham who's playing like they're going to get into a Europa League position, maybe even top 6. So I don't see Fulham holding up at all in this game, so I have West Ham winning 3-0.
Yeah, Fulham are just like Sheffield. Looks like they're doomed. I think it's going to be a convincing 3-1 victory for West Ham. I don't think they were unlucky to lose to Liverpool. I think in the end of the day, they stayed up to like the 80th minute. So I just think West Ham, the performance levels have been very and Fulham have been, whether the performance levels are high or low against Fulham, with all due respect, you can wipe them clean. So it's going to be 3-1 for West Ham.
All right, moving on to Spurs, West Brom. So don't need to say much about West Brom. Obviously relegation candidates. And then for Spurs, Bill is fucking back. So I got it 3-1 to Spurs.
So I have 4-1 to Spurs. I don't see Spurs losing this game with Son, Kane, and maybe Bale starting up this week after he scored his first goal last week against this West Brom defense who, like Fulham and Sheffield, can't seem to defend. So I have Spurs dominating this game and winning 4-1.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what the other guy said once again. I'm just going to say Spurs 2-0. I think Bale's he finally got on the score sheet. I think they'll keep a clean sheet, Spurs, and yeah, their firepower is too good for West Brom, so yeah, 2-0 Spurs.
Moving on to Leicester Wolves. So obviously for Leicester, I think Vardy might be fit again, but he's still coming back from injury. But I think if they decide to go with just Barnes alone up top against Wolves' 3 center backs, it's not going to work out too great. But that being said, for Wolves, I think Fofana is a really good center back for his age, and he's acquitted himself quite well so far. So I just have it being 1-0 to Leicester. I think they can hit Wolves on the break.
So I have a tie 2-2. I think these are 2 evenly matched teams with similar play styles. They're both going to be trying to counterattack all game in different ways. Wolves will sit back compact. Leicester will get out through their midfield pretty quickly. I think it's going to be defensive battle. Whoever is more compact at the back, I think is going to end up winning this game. But I have a 2-2 tie. I think they're just 2 evenly matched.
Yeah, for me, I think that they are very 2 evenly matched teams. This game could literally go either way. I just think Leicester are going to edge it a little bit. I just think they have a bit more creative quality in the midfield. Saying that, Wolves do have Joao Coutinho and Ruben Neves. But I just think Wolves haven't been the same as they have been last season. I'm not saying like they still don't have the firepower up top. I think defensively they do look a little more suspect this year. So, and just like, I don't know if people, again, Leicester haven't played today. We're recording this before they play Leeds, but like the ball that Tielemans played against Arsenal last week was a beautiful ball. So like they had those type of players. They have James Maddison. So if Vardy plays, I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory to Leicester.
All right, and then moving on to the final game of the weekend, Aston Villa against Arsenal. So I got it being an upset 2-1 to Aston Villa, just because I think Arsenal are going to be a little bit too high after this win over United. And I still don't really trust Arteta, only 39 games in, but Jack Grealish's bolt from 40 yards was fucking insane. And I really want to see Leno test it. I get he's a good keeper, but I just think he hasn't faced shots some of the other keepers have faced. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Villa.
I'm going 2-1 to Arsenal. I still don't trust this Aston Villa team. I thought maybe they were a different team last week, and then this week, it was 4-0. Like, Southampton then 1 goal, and then they put in 2 more in additional time. So it's kind of garbage time goals. But I think last week showed that their defense can be exposed, and I think this Arsenal team will expose it again this next week. So I have Arsenal winning 2-1.
I see definitely what Chris is saying. For me, I think Aston Villa, okay, James Ward-Prowse took 2 really good free kicks in my opinion that took the game away from Southampton. From Aston Villa. But yeah, the defense is still a little shaky, but I just think against a better team, Aston Villa are just going to sit. And this is where I think Arsenal fans need to calm down. I do think you guys played well against Liverpool or City or even United. I think you deserve to be United in the overall game just with how good defensively you were. But you won't win a league like playing 5 at the back. Like, you cannot go to Aston Villa and play 5 at the back with Partey and El Neni, right? Like, let's be real. Those two are more defensive-minded players. Like, you have to come out with Ceballos. And Arsenal have this stat. I don't know if Arsenal fans know that creation, and that is dreadful. And obviously it makes sense. Ozil's not playing. Really, they don't have any creative players. Pepe's probably creative, but he doesn't get the start consistently. So yeah, I think they're gonna have a hard time because Aston Villa are just gonna sit and just hit them on the counter. And then now they have players like Watkins, Grealish, Trezeguet that we already know about. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think Arsenal are going to be frustrated. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think Arsenal fans are going to be happy, but they're not going to get the win. That's just my opinion. But you guys let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are City going to win this game or Liverpool? It's a big game in the title race. People are already saying, oh no, Everton are going to win, blah, blah, blah. But let's be real. It's going to be City and Liverpool again. Liverpool in the shittiest league at the moment. Liverpool are still on top. That's how good they are. They don't have their best players and they're still on top. So you guys let us know. Who do you think is going to win the big game this week? City or Liverpool? Who do you think is going to win? United or Everton? Can United come back? But other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.